Hello everyone, it's so good to be back here again. Yes, it's been a hot minute since I put out a new video here. I've been away on traveling and I just got back not too long ago. In any case, it's been a busy return. And yet, here I am once again, this time talking about Hitman, a film that I just came back from the cinema from seeing because it's not on Netflix Canada, much to my dismay. I wish there was a bit more communication on that. It just said Netflix June 7 and it's nowhere to be seen here. Regardless, this is the latest film from Richard Linklater, who is a very well-respected filmmaker in my books. I haven't seen all his films, but the ones that I have seen are wonderful. I think he's best known for some of his older works such as Dazed and Confused and School of Rock, which are pretty much universal classics. I mean, who doesn't like them at least to some degree? But my personal favorites would have to be the Before trilogy, which would be Before Sunrise, Before Sunset, and Before Midnight. 3 films that came out 9 years apart each one. And my personal favorite would have to be Before Sunset. I'm not going to go too much in detail now, but that film is a 10 out of 10 in my books. It is a film that touches me so profoundly in ways that few, if any, other romantic dramas do. Its authenticity and power is just boundless. And then, of course, there's Boyhood, a film that I've had in my collection for years now, but I have yet to watch it. I don't know what kind of alignment of stars I'm waiting for, but there it is. Each new Linklater film that I see, I'm asking myself, why the hell have I still watched this film? And I don't have a better answer even today. But in any case, all that aside, today it is time to celebrate Hitman, the latest film once again from Richard Linklater. And I was going to this film pretty much blind. I had no idea what it was about, though I was surprised to learn at the end of the film that this is based on a true story, which is kind of epic now that I think about it. Though of course they do take some liberties, and even in the credits of the film, there is a little parenthesis that said, yeah, that part we made up. But in any case, to briefly go over the film's synopsis without once again giving as little details away as possible, this is the story of Gary Johnson, who is a college professor, though he is working part-time with the police department, initially just in this kind of minor techie role, but he ends up having this opportunity to integrate himself a little more deeply than initially expected. So he ends up playing this role of, literally playing the role, acting the role of a hitman. So he gets to act out this fantasy life of being a hitman to a whole bunch of different people so that they can divulge a little bit too much information before they actually commit the crime that they're going to hire this hitman for. So it totally is a bit of entrapment that they get sentenced to jail time for, and the film doesn't really explore this in any great detail, but it is a plot element that the film tackles. And here we are, Gary is enjoying this new career lifestyle that he's discovered and is going swimmingly well until he meets Madison, played by Adria Arjona. And they basically instantly take a liking to each other as she enlists him for his hitman services. I won't spoil any further details, but as you can imagine, this double or triple X amount of lifestyles that he's living with this hitman identities, these layers upon layers of lies and stories that he's telling himself and other people will come and bite him in the ass later in the film. I don't think that's too much of a spoiler. You can pretty much see that coming a mile away, right? So I do see this as a very simple dramedy that is a lot of fun. The chemistry between Glenn Powell and Adria Arjona for this romantic relationship that they're developing here is simply electric. It is quite steamy. They're super hot, but also I find them very sweet and tender. It was frankly quite endearing. Though I do find that perhaps on the character development side of the relationship itself, it's maybe a little flat and hollow. That's probably the biggest setback the film has. It kind of throws out a lot of interesting ideas, but they're not really fully fleshed out, very much like the entrapment of this hitman job that the police department is conducting, as I mentioned earlier. Indeed, I found much more enthralling this whole identity aspect of this fake hitman lifestyle that Gary was building around for himself. That paired with this police drama that's going on the side. The film opens a lot of interesting doors to these topics of identity and self-discovery that it unfortunately doesn't fully flesh out. It kind of just throws them out there, but it was nonetheless very thought-provoking, and I particularly appreciate this as if approach to your lifestyle when it comes to making these major lifestyle changes where you kind of pretend this other person you want to become, and then you eventually end up becoming, which is literally what happens to Gary when you look at his progression from the start of the film where he was timid, shy, unsure of himself until he becomes literally this other character. I mean that in more ways than one. In that sense, it really does have a cool and satisfying character arc, which I think now is a perfect moment to just shout out Glenn Powell. I think we've seen him in a few roles now where he shows a lot of promise, but in this film, he goes all out, absolutely steals the show, and shows some true star power. It's a lot of fun to see the kind of range he gets to explore in this film because he's not playing one character, he's playing several characters. Sure, with varying runtimes, but nonetheless, all the costumes, the different accents, and the personalities that he gets to explore, it's a lot of fun. And you can tell that he was enjoying the process too. And speaking of the creative process, he's not just the lead actor in this film, he also co-wrote the screenplay with Richard Linklater, which I did not know. And he was also producing on this film. So, you know what? It's always a lot of fun to see actors go above and beyond the usual Call of Duty. Which, come to think of it, isn't the first time Richard Linklater has this kind of creative chemistry between actors and directors when it comes to writing a film. Look no further than the Before trilogy, for example. So yeah, I found this to be a very enjoyable film. I think this is a solid 8 out of 10. It doesn't really reinvent the wheel here, and like I said though, it throws out a lot of really interesting ideas and has great chemistry, star power, a solid production value as well. It's a little shallow at times and doesn't fully explore these ideas as thoroughly as it may have. It's still a boatload of fun, and this might be the feel-good hit of the summer. This is the perfect date night film as far as I'm concerned. So regardless if you watch it in cinemas or at Netflix on your couch, this is gonna be a lot of fun, I think. So with all that being said, wishing you and your loved ones nothing but the best. Take care and talk to you soon.